Hello and welcome to part 3 of this series. Uh, let's do a quick recap. So we've ran some requests. We've learned that we need to run them with the access token in the header. Uh, we've also learned that the access token has a 2-hour lifespan and that we need to refresh it with the refresh token. And when we refresh it with the refresh token itself gets updated. So whenever we want to refresh the access token again, we need to refresh it with the new refresh token. That's a mouthful, but it's not that complicated. We have also variabilized the parameters, which will allow us to have different environments here that we can run the requests with. So the last part is to figure out how to refresh the access and the refresh tokens dynamically so that we don't have to go each time to the API gateway and download the token again and copy out values into these fields here. So before we get started, let's add a new variable and call it access token. And this will hold our access token. Let me update this. So in order to achieve that, we'll leverage the scripting power of Postman. And Postman can run a script at 2 times. One it's before the request is sent, and one it's on the data that has been received from the request. So here at the top we have a pre-request script that we can run before we send the data, and tests hold a script that runs on the return data from here. So we will define our script under tests, and what we want is to receive valid data, not this, but valid data, and we want these two variables to be updated with values from these fields. So in order to do that, we will have to get this value from the response into a variable, and we call it the resp, as in the response, and then we parse the JSON from response body. And now we'll tell the Postman environment or the Postman container to update those values. And for this we use PM, which basically stands for Postman, or we can use Postman. In either case this will work. So we tell to set an environment variable called access token with the access token from the response, and we do the same for the refresh token. We update it from the response body, and we can save this. Now the only thing I have to do now is to refresh the refresh token with the latest one. So I go back here. I apologize for this window always opening here, but I don't know what this is doing, but hopefully this will be one of the last times that I have to do this. So let's update this. So now if we send this request, we received an error again, and that's because I have copied this token instead of this one. So if I now update this one and send this request, we got the new refresh and access tokens, and they have been updated here. Now we can run this as many times as we want, and it will never fail. But before we run our requests here, we need one last step. And here in the authorization, we get rid of this token, and we put in the variable of access token in. We update this, and now we can run our requests again. And now you will never have to refresh the token again, either the refresh one or the access one, unless you refresh it from somewhere else, either from the API gateway itself, from here, or if another script would use the same token and refresh it. But if you're running various scripts, I suggest that you just create other tokens for that script so that they won't overlap. And it's quite easy to achieve that because we just create a new token in the API gateway, and you can see we have a new token from this from the API gateway. So whenever your token expires, or even if it doesn't expire, you can simply send a request to refresh the token. These fields here will get refreshed with the new values, and you can simply then create a new group as we did before. So now we'll create group 3 again, and if we go back, and wait for this to load, we have group 3 here, and again we can also easily delete that group 3 with Postman. If we refresh this page, group 3 will no longer be there. Now, before I finish off this video, I wanted to show you a quick tip. As you can remember, in the first video, we set the authorization here at this folder level. Now, in your automation work, you might have many folders here. So what you can do, you can edit this. And instead of selecting bearer token here, you would inherit from parent. And the parent would be the collection itself. So if you edit the collection and select authorization here, you can select bearer token, and this will get populated with the access token. And when you do that, you can see that your requests will again have the authorization header in it. So if you run this now, it will work. It just might take some time. Also, if you create a new folder, you can just, when you create it, it already inherits from the top folder, so you don't have to put the authorization in it again, and all the requests that you will put in there will already have the header required there. So hopefully now you are starting to understand the power of Postman and why it is such a why it is a much preferred way of automating than doing this via the API gateway, because this simply isn't built for purpose. This is just to allow you to find the requests that you need to define then in Postman. So I'm gonna finish off this video and thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll make some more in the future.